What if I told you that one city changed the course of human history forever? From a tiny settlement on the banks of the Tiber River, Rome grew into the greatest empire the world had ever seen. Its armies conquered continents, its engineers built wonders that still stand today, and its laws shaped modern civilization. But how did such an unstoppable empire rise? And why did it eventually fall? This is the real story of the Roman Empire, filled with ambition, power, betrayal, and unforgettable legends. Let's begin our journey. Long before Rome became an empire, it was just a small settlement surrounded by forests and rolling hills in central Italy. According to legend, the city was founded in 753 BC by Romulus, who, together with his twin brother Remus, had been raised by a she-wolf after being abandoned as infants. Although this story is mythical, archaeologists have found evidence that small villages really existed on Rome's famous Seven Hills during this period. Over time, these villages united, creating the foundation of a city that would one day rule millions of people across Europe, Africa, and Asia. Rome's extraordinary journey had officially begun. The legend of Romulus and Remus is one of history's most famous origin stories. The twin brothers were said to be descendants of the Trojan hero Aeneas. After surviving abandonment and being cared for by a she-wolf, they grew into strong leaders and decided to build a new city. But a bitter argument over where it should stand turned violent. Romulus killed Remus and became the city's first ruler, giving it his own name, Rome. Whether the tale is fact or myth, it symbolized the belief that Rome was born through courage, sacrifice, and an unbreakable determination to achieve greatness. This powerful legend inspired Romans for centuries and became a lasting part of their identity. After the founding of Rome, the city was traditionally ruled by a series of 7 kings. These early rulers transformed a small settlement into an organized society by creating laws, religious traditions, military systems, and public institutions. Some kings were remembered as wise builders, while others became symbols of tyranny. The final king, Tarquin the Proud, ruled with fear and cruelty. His abuse of power eventually united the Roman people against the monarchy. In 509 BC, they overthrew their king and made a bold decision that would change history forever. Instead of another monarch, Rome would become a republic, where leaders were chosen to serve the people rather than rule over them. In 509 BC, Rome entered a new era with the birth of the Roman Republic. Instead of being ruled by a king, power was shared between elected officials, including 2 consuls who served limited terms. The Senate, made up of influential citizens, advised leaders and shaped important decisions. Although not everyone had equal rights, this new system aimed to prevent any one person from becoming too powerful. It encouraged political debate, military discipline, and civic responsibility. Over the next several centuries, the Republic grew stronger, expanding its influence across the Italian peninsula and laying the foundation for one of the greatest civilizations in history. Rome's greatest strength was not its size, it was its army. Roman soldiers trained relentlessly, learning to fight as one disciplined unit rather than as individual warriors. Each legion followed strict rules, built fortified camps every night, and could march long distances with heavy equipment. Their shields formed an almost unbreakable wall, while their tactics allowed them to adapt to many different enemies. Victory was earned through discipline, planning, and teamwork instead of brute force alone. As the Roman legions became stronger, neighboring cities and kingdoms struggled to stop their advance. The army grew. As Rome's military power grew, its influence spread across the Italian peninsula. Some cities chose to become allies, while others resisted and faced the strength of the Roman legions. Instead of destroying every defeated community, Rome often offered citizenship, protection, or local self-government in exchange for loyalty. This smart strategy helped create a powerful network of allies who supplied soldiers, resources, and support during times of war. By the early 3rd century BC, Rome had become the dominant power in Italy. What began as a small city-state was now ready to challenge the greatest kingdoms of the ancient Mediterranean, marking the beginning of its rise to global dominance. By the 3rd century BC, Rome had become the strongest power in Italy, but another great civilization dominated the Western Mediterranean: Carthage. Located in North Africa, Carthage controlled major trade routes with its powerful navy and vast wealth. As both nations expanded, conflict became unavoidable. The First Punic War began over the island of Sicily and lasted for more than 20 years. Although Rome had little naval experience, it quickly built a massive fleet and developed new tactics to fight at sea. After years of fierce battles, Rome emerged victorious, gaining its first overseas territory and proving it could defeat even the greatest maritime power of its time. After Carthage lost the First Punic War, one brilliant commander refused to accept defeat. His name was Hannibal. In one of history's most daring military campaigns, he led tens of thousands of soldiers, cavalry, and even war elephants across the snow-covered Alps to invade Italy. The journey was brutal. Freezing temperatures, dangerous mountain paths, and constant attacks claimed many lives. Yet Hannibal reached Italy and shocked the Roman Republic. His unexpected arrival proved that even the mighty Roman army could be challenged. The battles that followed would become legendary, testing Rome's courage, endurance, and determination to survive against one of the greatest generals the world has ever known. Hannibal won several stunning victories against Rome, but his greatest triumph came at the Battle of Cannae in 216 BC. Using brilliant tactics, he surrounded a much larger Roman army and trapped it from every side. The result was one of the deadliest defeats in military history, with tens of thousands of Roman soldiers killed in a single day. Many believed Rome would never recover. But instead of surrendering, the Republic rebuilt its armies, refused to negotiate, and continued the fight. Years later, the Roman general Scipio Africanus invaded North Africa and defeated Hannibal at the Battle of Zama. That victory ended the Second Punic War and marked the beginning of Rome's rise as the dominant power in the Mediterranean. As Rome grew richer and more powerful, political rivalries became increasingly dangerous. Into this world stepped Julius Caesar, a brilliant general, skilled politician, and one of history's most influential leaders. His victories in Gaul expanded Rome's territory and made him a national hero. But his growing popularity alarmed many senators, who feared he would seize absolute power. Tensions reached a breaking point when Caesar made a bold decision that would change Roman history forever. By leading his army across the Rubicon River, he openly challenged the Republic, triggering a civil war that would transform Rome and shape the future of the Western world. Before becoming Rome's most famous leader, Julius Caesar proved his genius on the battlefields of Gaul, a region that covers much of modern-day France and parts of neighboring countries. Between 58 and 50 BC, he led a series of military campaigns that expanded Roman territory and brought millions of people under Roman rule. Caesar's disciplined legions defeated powerful tribal alliances despite being heavily outnumbered in several battles. He carefully documented these campaigns, turning his victories into stories that spread throughout Rome and strengthened his reputation. By the time he returned home, Caesar was no longer just a successful general. He had become the most celebrated and politically powerful man in the Republic. In 49 BC, Julius Caesar faced the most important decision of his life. The Roman Senate ordered him to dismiss his army before returning to Rome, fearing his growing influence. Instead, Caesar led his loyal legions across the small Rubicon River, an act that was considered open rebellion against the Republic. According to tradition, he declared, "The die is cast," signaling that there was no turning back. Civil war quickly spread across the Roman world as Caesar fought against his political rivals. His bold gamble ended centuries of Republican tradition and paved the way for a new era in Roman history, where one man could hold unmatched power. After winning the civil war, Julius Caesar became Rome's most powerful leader and was appointed dictator for life. While many admired his reforms, others feared he was destroying the Republic and making himself a king. On the Ides of March 15, 44 BC, a group of senators carried out a shocking conspiracy inside the theater of Pompey. They surrounded Caesar and stabbed him dozens of times. Among the conspirators was Brutus, a man Caesar deeply trusted. The assassination was meant to save the Republic, but it had the opposite effect. Instead of restoring peace, it plunged Rome into years of chaos. civil war, and political violence ultimately clearing the path for the rise of the Roman Empire. After Julius Caesar's assassination, Rome was torn apart by years of civil war. Eventually, Caesar's adopted son, Octavian, defeated his greatest rival, Mark Antony, and became the undisputed leader of the Roman world. In 27 BC, the Senate awarded him the title Augustus, marking the beginning of the Roman Empire. Although he claimed to restore the Republic, Augustus carefully held ultimate authority while preserving traditional institutions. Under his leadership, Rome entered a period of stability, prosperity, and expansion known as the Pax Romana, or Roman peace. Roads, cities, and trade flourished, and the empire grew stronger than ever before. Augustus laid the foundation for an empire that would endure for centuries and shape the history of the Western world. With Augustus as emperor, Rome entered an extraordinary era known as the Pax Romana, or the Roman peace. For nearly 2 centuries, the empire enjoyed remarkable stability, economic growth, and security. Roman engineers built thousands of miles of roads, massive bridges, aqueducts, and impressive public buildings that connected distant provinces. Merchants traded goods from Britain to Egypt and from Spain to Syria, making Rome the center of a vast commercial network. Art, literature, and architecture flourished, while strong laws helped maintain order across millions of people. Although conflicts still occurred along the borders, life within much of the empire was more peaceful and prosperous than ever before, creating one of history's greatest golden ages. One of Rome's greatest achievements was not a weapon, it was its roads. Roman engineers built more than 250,000 miles of roads, with tens of thousands of miles paved in stone. These roads connected cities, forts, ports, and distant provinces across the empire. Soldiers could move quickly to defend borders, merchants could transport goods efficiently, and government officials could deliver messages with remarkable speed. Many of these roads were built so well that parts of them still exist today. The famous saying, "All roads lead to Rome," reflected the empire's unmatched network of transportation. These roads became the invisible foundation of Rome's military power, economic success, and lasting influence. On the ancient world, the Roman Empire was not only famous for its military victories, but also for its extraordinary engineering. Roman architects mastered the use of concrete, allowing them to build massive structures that amazed the ancient world. They constructed towering aqueducts that carried fresh water across valleys, supplying entire cities with clean drinking water. Public baths, amphitheaters, bridges, and temples showcased Rome's advanced design and craftsmanship. Many of these structures have survived for nearly 2,000 years, proving the strength of Roman engineering. Their innovations influence generations of builders and continue to inspire modern architecture, making Rome one of the greatest engineering civilizations in human history. In the heart of Rome stood one of the most extraordinary buildings ever constructed, the Colosseum. Completed around AD 80, this massive amphitheater could hold an estimated 50,000 spectators. Crowds gathered to watch gladiator contests, animal hunts, dramatic performances, and other public spectacles. The structure itself was an engineering masterpiece, featuring complex underground chambers, elevators, and carefully designed entrances that allowed thousands of people to enter and leave efficiently. For many Romans, the Colosseum symbolized the strength, wealth, and power of the empire. Today, despite centuries of earthquakes and damage, it remains one of the world's most recognizable landmarks and a lasting symbol of ancient Roman civilization. Gladiators were among the most famous figures in ancient Rome, but their lives were far more complex than many people imagine. Most were slaves, prisoners of war, or convicted criminals, though some free men volunteered in search of fame and fortune. They trained for years in specialized schools, mastering different fighting styles and weapons. Every battle demanded discipline, courage, and exceptional skill. Contrary to popular belief, not every defeated gladiator was killed, as experienced fighters were valuable and expensive to replace. Victorious gladiators could become celebrities, earning wealth, admiration, and even their freedom. Their dramatic contests entertained the Roman people while reflecting the empire's fascination with courage, honor, and survival. Beyond the grand monuments and legendary battles, everyday life in ancient Rome was full of activity. Wealthy families lived in elegant homes decorated with colorful mosaics and beautiful gardens, while many ordinary citizens stayed in crowded apartment buildings called insulae. Streets were lined with markets where merchants sold bread, olive oil, wine, spices, and goods from across the empire. Public baths were more than places to wash. They served as social centers where people relaxed, exercised, and discussed politics or business. Children attended school, craftsmen worked in busy workshops, and farmers supplied food to the growing cities. Together, millions of ordinary people kept the Roman Empire alive, making it one of the most advanced societies of the ancient world. Religion played a central role in the daily lives of the Romans. They believed that powerful gods and goddesses influenced every part of the world, from war and harvests to love and the sea. Jupiter was honored as the king of the gods. Mars was the god of war, Venus represented love and beauty, and Neptune ruled the oceans. Temples, festivals, and public ceremonies were held throughout the year to seek divine favor and protect the empire. As Rome expanded, it welcomed many foreign beliefs and traditions, creating a diverse religious landscape. This openness would eventually allow new faiths, including Christianity, to spread across the Roman world and permanently change its history. After Augustus established the empire, several remarkable emperors guided Rome to even greater heights. Emperor Trajan expanded the empire to its largest territorial extent, stretching from Britain to the Middle East. Hadrian strengthened the borders instead of seeking endless conquest, building the famous Hadrian's Wall in Britain. Marcus Aurelius, known as the philosopher emperor, believed that wisdom, discipline, and justice were essential qualities of a ruler. Under these leaders, Rome enjoyed prosperity, security, and cultural achievement. Their decisions shaped the empire for generations and left a legacy that historians continue to study as examples of leadership, vision, and the responsibilities of power. No empire remains powerful forever, and Rome was no exception. After centuries of success, the empire began facing growing challenges. Weak leadership, political corruption, economic troubles, and frequent civil wars slowly weakened the government. Inflation reduced the value of money, heavy taxes burdened ordinary citizens, and the cost of maintaining the vast army became increasingly difficult. At the same time, powerful tribes beyond Rome's borders grew stronger and launched repeated invasions. These problems did not destroy Rome overnight, but together they slowly eroded the empire's strength. The civilization that had once ruled much of the known world was now entering one of the most difficult periods in its history. By the 5th century AD, the Western Roman Empire was struggling to survive. Years of political instability, economic decline, and relentless invasions had weakened its foundations. Germanic tribes, including the Visigoths and Vandals, captured important Roman territories, while the government found it increasingly difficult to defend its borders. In AD 476, the Germanic leader Odoacer removed the young emperor Romulus Augustulus from power. Historians often mark this event as the end of the Western Roman Empire. Although the empire in the West had fallen, its laws, language, engineering, and ideas continued to influence Europe for centuries. Rome's political power ended, but its legacy became stronger than ever. Although the Western Roman Empire came to an end, the story of Rome did not. Its ideas continued to shape civilizations across the world. Roman law became the foundation of many modern legal systems. Latin evolved into languages such as Italian, Spanish, French, Portuguese, and Romanian. Roman engineering inspired bridges, roads, and public buildings for centuries. The Republic's political traditions influenced later governments, while Roman architecture still appears in parliaments, courthouses, and museums around the globe. Even today, the influence of Rome can be seen in our language, culture, technology, and institutions. The empire may have fallen, but its legacy continues to live on in countless ways, reminding us that great civilizations can outlast their own history. The influence of ancient Rome reaches far beyond history books. Many modern governments adopted ideas inspired by the Roman Republic, including elected representatives, written laws, and systems of public administration. Roman engineering techniques still inspire architects and engineers today. The calendar we use, many legal principles, and countless English words have roots in Latin, the language of Rome. Even sports stadiums, public squares, and government buildings often reflect Roman architectural design. Across continents and cultures, the legacy of Rome remains visible in everyday life. More than 15 centuries after the empire's fall, its ideas continue to shape the modern world in ways that most people never even notice. Even after thousands of years, ancient Rome continues to fascinate historians, archaeologists, and millions of people around the world. New discoveries are still being made beneath the streets of modern Rome, revealing forgotten buildings, hidden tunnels, ancient inscriptions, and remarkable artifacts. Each discovery helps us understand how one civilization transformed the course of history. Rome's story is not only about emperors and wars, it is also about innovation, ambition, culture, and the resilience of ordinary people. The rise and fall of the Roman Empire remains one of humanity's greatest lessons, reminding us that even the most powerful civilizations must adapt to survive. The Roman Empire was more than a collection of cities and armies, it was a civilization that transformed the world. Its triumphs showed the power of vision, discipline, and innovation, while its decline revealed how corruption, division, and poor leadership can weaken even the greatest nations. The echoes of Rome can still be found in our laws, languages, architecture, and systems of government. Every ancient road, towering monument, and surviving inscription tells the story of people who dreamed of building something that would last forever. More than 2,000 years later, their achievements continue to inspire us. Rome may have fallen, but its legacy remains one of the greatest chapters in human history. From a small settlement beside the Tiber River to one of the greatest empires in human history, Rome's journey is a story of ambition, innovation, triumph, and resilience. Its rise changed the ancient world, and its legacy continues to influence our lives today. If you enjoyed this documentary and want to explore more incredible stories from history, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next adventure. Thank you for watching The Real Odyssey. Until next time, keep exploring the stories that shaped our world. The Roman army did not dominate the ancient world by strength alone. Its greatest weapon was discipline. Every soldier trained relentlessly with heavy wooden practice weapons that were harder to handle than real ones, making combat feel easier in battle. Legionaries learned to fight in perfect formation, protect one another with large shields, and follow orders without hesitation. Engineers marched alongside the army, building bridges, roads, and fortified camps with incredible speed. Each night, soldiers constructed a defensive camp before resting, ensuring they were always prepared for surprise attacks. This unmatched organization and discipline transformed the Roman legions into one of the most effective military forces in history. While the Roman legions ruled the land, the Roman navy secured the seas. At first, Rome had little naval experience, but during the Punic Wars it rapidly built powerful fleets capable of challenging Carthage, the greatest maritime power of the time. Roman warships carried skilled sailors and disciplined soldiers, allowing them to fight both at sea and in close combat. Control of the Mediterranean protected trade routes, transported armies, and ensured a steady flow of food and supplies across the empire. The Romans proudly called the Mediterranean Mare Nostrum, meaning our sea, reflecting their dominance over one of the world's most important waterways. Naval power became a vital pillar of Rome's lasting success. Life as a Roman soldier was demanding, disciplined, and filled with constant challenges. A legionary could march more than 20 miles in a single day while carrying heavy armor, weapons, food, and tools. When the day's march ended, the work was not over. Soldiers built fortified camps with ditches and wooden walls before they rested. Daily training included sword fighting, shield drills, running, and formation exercises to maintain peak readiness. In return for their service, they received regular pay, equipment, and, after completing many years in the army, often land or financial rewards. Their discipline, endurance, and loyalty helped transform the Roman legions into one of the most respected military forces in world history. Roman soldiers carried some of the most advanced weapons and armor of the ancient world. Their primary sword, the gladius, was short, strong, and designed for close combat. Before charging, legionaries often threw a pilum, a heavy javelin that could bend on impact, making it difficult for enemies to throw it back. The large curved shield, known as the scutum, provided excellent protection and allowed soldiers to fight in tight formations. They wore helmets, body armor, and carried tools for building camps and bridges. Combined with constant training and strict discipline, these weapons gave Roman legions a decisive advantage over many of their rivals and helped build one of history's greatest empires. The Roman Empire was shaped by battles that changed the course of history. At the Battle of Zama, Rome defeated Hannibal and ended Carthage's greatest threat. During the Battle of Alesia, Julius Caesar used brilliant engineering and military tactics to overcome a larger Gallic force. Later, at the Battle of the Milvian Bridge, Constantine secured victory in a conflict that would reshape the empire's future. These battles were not won by numbers alone. Careful planning, disciplined soldiers, skilled commanders, and strong logistics gave Rome a decisive advantage. Each victory expanded Roman influence and strengthened its position as one of the most powerful civilizations the world had ever seen. Rome's wealth came not only from conquest but also from one of the largest trade networks in the ancient world. Merchant ships crossed the Mediterranean carrying grain from Egypt, olive oil from Spain, wine from Italy, silk from Asia, spices from India, and luxury goods from distant lands. Roman roads connected thousands of towns and cities, making travel and commerce faster than ever before. Markets were filled with products from across 3 continents, while a common currency helped simplify trade throughout the empire. This vast economic system supported millions of people, funded the Roman army, and helped transform Rome into the commercial heart of the ancient Mediterranean world. Women in ancient Rome could not vote or hold political office, but many played important roles in family life, business, religion, and society. Wealthy women often managed large households, supervised servants, and sometimes oversaw family estates or commercial affairs. Others worked as artisans, merchants, midwives, or teachers. Some women gained significant influence through their education, wealth, or connections to powerful leaders. The Vestal Virgins, priestesses dedicated to the goddess Vesta, held a unique and respected position in Roman society. Although Roman laws limited many of their rights, the contributions of women helped shape daily life and preserve the traditions that supported one of history's greatest civilizations. Slavery was a major part of the Roman economy and society. Enslaved people came from many regions, often captured during wars or acquired through trade. They worked in homes, farms, mines, workshops, and public construction projects. Some served as teachers, accountants, or skilled craftsmen, while others endured extremely harsh conditions. A few were able to earn or be granted their freedom, becoming freed citizens with limited rights. The Roman Empire relied heavily on enslaved labor to support its cities, agriculture, and economy. Although slavery helped Rome grow stronger, it also revealed the deep inequalities that existed within one of history's most powerful civilizations. During the 1st century AD, a new faith began to spread across the Roman Empire: Christianity. At first, Christians were a small minority and often faced suspicion or persecution from Roman authorities. Despite these hardships, the message continued to spread through cities, towns, and trade routes. Over time, the number of followers grew rapidly. In the early 4th century, Emperor Constantine legalized Christianity, allowing people to practice their faith openly. Later, it became the empire's official religion. This transformation reshaped Roman society and had a profound influence on the history, culture, and beliefs of Europe and much of the world for centuries to come. Emperor Constantine the Great was one of the most influential rulers in Roman history. After securing victory in a series of civil wars, he introduced major reforms that strengthened the empire. He established a new imperial capital at Byzantium, renaming it Constantinople, a city that connected Europe and Asia through trade and strategy. Constantine also supported Christianity, helping it grow into one of the empire's most important religions. His political, military, and religious decisions transformed Rome and shaped the future of Europe for centuries. Even after the Western Empire declined, Constantinople remained the center of the Eastern Roman Empire for nearly 1,000 more years. Although the Western Roman Empire fell in AD 476, the Roman story did not end. The Eastern Roman Empire, known today as the Byzantine Empire, continued to thrive with its capital at Constantinople. Its rulers considered themselves true Romans, preserving Roman law, government, and military traditions while blending them with Greek culture. Under Emperor Justinian I, the empire reached new heights, and the famous Hagia Sophia became one of the greatest architectural achievements of its age. For nearly 1,000 years after the fall of the West, the Byzantine Empire protected classical knowledge and connected Europe with Asia through trade, diplomacy, and culture. In many ways, Rome lived on through Byzantium. The Roman Empire changed the world not only through conquest but also through innovation. Roman engineers perfected durable concrete, allowing them to build massive domes, bridges, and aqueducts that have survived for centuries. Their carefully planned road network connected distant provinces and accelerated trade, communication, and military movement. Public sanitation systems, including sewers and flowing water, improved life in many cities. Roman legal principles influenced modern justice, while their methods of surveying, construction, and urban planning inspired future civilizations. These inventions and ideas continue to shape our daily lives, proving that Rome's greatest victories were not only won on the battlefield but also through creativity and engineering. The Colosseum was more than just an arena, it was a masterpiece of ancient technology. Beneath the wooden floor of the arena existed a complex underground world called the hypogeum. It contained tunnels, storage rooms, and mechanical systems that allowed animals, scenery, and performers to appear suddenly before the crowd. Massive crowds could enter and exit through a carefully designed system of passageways called vomitoria, reducing congestion. The games held inside reflected Roman culture, politics, and the relationship between emperors and citizens. Even after nearly 2,000 years, the Colosseum remains a powerful reminder of Rome's engineering brilliance and its unforgettable place in human history. For centuries, stories about ancient Rome have mixed truth with legend. Many people imagine that every gladiator fight ended with death, but historical evidence shows that some famous gladiators survived and became celebrated figures. Another common myth is that all Romans lived in luxury, while in reality, life varied greatly between wealthy citizens, workers, soldiers, and farmers. The Roman Empire was also not destroyed in a single moment. It declined over many generations due to complex political, economic, and military challenges. By separating myths from facts, we gain a clearer understanding of the real Rome, a civilization filled with incredible achievements, human struggles, and fascinating contradictions. Every year, archaeologists uncover new clues about the Roman world. Buried beneath modern cities and forgotten landscapes are ancient homes, temples, roads, coins, tools, and writings that reveal how Romans truly lived. Cities like Pompeii and Herculaneum preserved extraordinary details after the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, giving historians a rare glimpse into everyday Roman life. Advanced technology, including digital mapping and modern scanning methods, continues to reveal hidden structures beneath the ground. Each discovery adds another piece to the story of Rome, reminding us that the past is not lost, it is waiting to be uncovered. The story of Rome offers powerful lessons that still matter today. Its rise shows how discipline, innovation, organization, and ambition can transform a small city into a global power. But Rome's decline reminds us that success can be fragile when leadership weakens, divisions grow, and problems are ignored. The empire's history teaches that every great civilization must continue to adapt and improve to survive. Rome was not perfect, but its achievements and failures provide valuable lessons about power, responsibility, and the choices that shape the future of nations. The Roman Empire may have disappeared as a political power, but its influence never truly vanished. The languages spoken by millions today carry the voice of ancient Rome. Modern legal systems still reflect Roman ideas of justice and citizenship. Architects continue to admire Roman designs, and governments around the world have studied its political traditions. From roads and buildings to literature and philosophy, Rome left behind a foundation that shaped countless societies. The empire that once ruled vast territories is now a memory, but its ideas continue to live in the modern world. Rome's greatest achievement was not simply conquering lands, it was creating a legacy that survived for thousands of years. Today, the city of Rome stands as a bridge between the ancient and modern worlds. Millions of visitors walk through the same streets where emperors, soldiers, artists, and citizens once lived. The Colosseum, Roman Forum, and ancient monuments continue to tell stories of a civilization that shaped human history. Beneath the modern city, layers of ancient Rome still remain, waiting to reveal more secrets. Rome is often called the Eternal City because its influence has survived countless generations. While the empire is gone, the spirit of Rome continues through its culture, architecture, and the endless curiosity of people who seek to understand its remarkable journey. From a small village beside the Tiber River to the center of a vast empire, Rome's journey was filled with extraordinary moments. It witnessed legendary kings, powerful emperors, heroic soldiers, brilliant engineers, and ordinary people who built a civilization that changed the world. Rome experienced incredible victories but also faced conflicts, mistakes, and decline. Its story is a reminder that no empire is truly eternal, but the ideas and achievements created by great civilizations can continue for generations. Subscribe for more incredible stories from history.